slowly by slowly, I used to find myself just doing videos on my laptop and just recording myself, giving advice to people. Well, this has not just started today. It started way long, like 10 years ago. I was still in campus and I would just record myself. And at some point, I would just be sitting at my bed asking myself, hello and welcome here to another episode of Your Purpose with Edda. Here we talk about all conversations in relation to purpose and personal development because we need personal development in order to support us in our purpose. That is why we are here. So, today I'm just going to start with a very quick story about myself, which I think it's very important for us to get to understand what today's topic is about. Because today we're going to talk about the guide purpose archetype. And because this is where I fall, I thought, why not share how my experience has been and how it relates to what I am going to speak about. So this is what happened. I am more moved with conversations in relation to purpose, in relation to personal development. So that is why I am more into creating content to help other people, to just support them in terms of their personal development and in their growth, in their self-discovery line in matters about mental wellness. So some of the things that are actually making me happy are such moments as this, when I am just talking about matters in relation to personal development, purpose, self-discovery. That is why I feel so happy that I have this platform, and I am glad that you guys can be able to learn from me, because this is my area of gifting, because I know even you have your area of gifting. So growing up, I didn't know much about who I was. I was mostly following people. And then it got to a point where I started associating myself with people who are super confident in themselves. And I knew for a fact that for sure I was so empathetic with people. But I did not know how to put that out there, because that was just me. And growing up, I was not used to speaking much. I was used to just listening, taking in advice, and leaving it at that, and mostly listening. So now I get to a point where people are actually coming to me asking me for advice, because when people are mostly speaking to you, people see who you are even when you do not know who you are. And that is why they normally say that we need to teach people who we are, because they will just judge us based on who we are, based on who we show them we are. So most of the time I would just listen and empathize with people. And so with time I could see that even most of my friends could come to me to ask questions in matters about how to approach life in certain ways, or if they've had an issue, they would come to me seeking answers that even me I would give, but I really didn't put much effort into it because I really didn't know what this is. And then slowly by slowly, I used to find myself just doing videos on my laptop and just recording myself, giving advice to people. Well, this has not just started today. It started way long, like 10 years ago. I was still in campus and I would just record myself. And at some point, I would just be sitting at my bed asking myself, where would these videos go to? And it never dawned on me that maybe I could start a YouTube channel or something. But I knew that at that time, I started an Instagram page where I used to just put quotes, all the ideas that I have in my mind. Mostly I would just put quotes, and they would be quotes that I have created for myself. I know that's something that I read somewhere. So I could just come up with, so an idea could just randomly come up, and I would just write the quote and then post it. But now doing it by myself was super difficult, because I am now not the creator. I am just the person who has the ideas in my mind when it comes to self-care and self-discovery and all these matters about purpose and personal development, but I don't know how to put them out there. So fast forward, let's fast track things. And now I left home, and then now I went to a different country. And now when I met my friend, we started talking, and most of the conversations that we were talking were mostly about all the same things that I have been thinking in my mind. And it was literally the birth of the podcast that we have with my friend, Balance It Podcast. Actually, if you've not watched it, go and watch it. And that is how Balance It Podcast was birthed, because we were just aligned and things just became so smooth. And now, back then, while I was still in Kenya, I decided later on, like 8 years later, I decided to open a YouTube channel, but I didn't know what to put there. So, and I was not confident in myself on how to do this. And so I just decided I'm going to put these rain videos, randomly rain videos. And that is why if you scroll down to like almost my first videos, they were rain videos. I just wanted things in relation to just things that can actually be able to just help people just be better. And that was my entire motivation. And now fast forward to where things are right now. Now we have the YouTube channel. I have discovered who I am. I am confident in who I am. And having the clarity that I have right now, I felt like it is now an important aspect for me to put out more conversation on things that I have in my mind and not just store them here, because I feel like this is a gifting. This is something that started even before me knowing that I had this thing in me, but it was in me and people could see it. It's just that they could not articulate it the way that I need to articulate it, right? Yes, and that now brings me to today's conversation, which is the guide type of Papa's archetype. I say this because I am a guide Papa's archetype, and I did not know back then, but I knew for sure this thing is in me. It's just it was coming out, but it had not gotten the right word for it. And now, today I'm coming to tell you that I am a guide at Papa's Architect. And I know there are so many people out there who are also the guides, but they do not know that they are people who are still in that stage where I was back then, but they don't know that they are actually the guide Papa's archetype. And so the guide Papa's archetype is actually somebody who loves guiding, teaching, and supporting others in terms of their life journeys. And that is why mostly you would see that we are falling into being coaches, being and mostly being things like transformation coaches, life coaches. This because we love to see people grow, learn, and succeed. And it's not just a matter of saying that we are talking about your problems, but what we enjoy is seeing the transformation from moving from point A all the way to point Z, and putting in the work all throughout the entire period, right? So that is what a guide archetype. And I know if you are there and you're thinking that could be me, yes, it is you. It is you. It could be that this is either your primary or your primary archetype, or maybe your secondary archetype. So most of the conversations that are actually interesting to us as the guide archetypes is that we love things when it comes to matters well-being, matters self-discovery, matters of sharing wisdom and our experiences, and talking about life, what really life is, matters just our mental health, things about mostly, I would generalize it to mostly about well-being and wholesomeness, right? And that is why I love what I am doing, because this is like a gift. This is a gift that I know that I have to put it out there. And that is why I am never ashamed right now to put out what I know, because I know the ideas that I have in my mind, they're not just my ideas, they're ideas that have come from God. And for me to share that, it is my obligation. I do not have an option, guys. Just have to do it, right? So, what are some of the jobs and careers that actually we as the guides could be really good at? We could be really good as educators and trainers and facilitators, as coaches, as mentors, as therapists or consultants. And also, some of the things in an organization, some of the specific jobs in an organization that we would be really good fits are things like advisors. So maybe you're in audit, probably an advisory department, or maybe an advisor in any organization, or maybe HR, or matters about leadership, or maybe in HR there are different levels of HR. We are really good in matters about talent management, employee engagement. So some of those are some of the areas that we can be really good at, and some of the things I have mentioned are the different organization positions that you also need to look at. So things like being managers and strategies, these are things that come naturally to us. And also as leaders, it comes naturally to us. So how do we create impact in society? We just have to help others make empowered decisions for their lives. And you do not need to do this by struggle, because it comes naturally to you. So what we need to do is that we need to pass the wisdom that God has given us to other people. And that could look like through a physical one-on-one teaching. It could look like content creation. It could look like having webinars, having workshops, to just help people understand things about themselves that we already have them in our minds. God has entrusted that with us. He has given us that wisdom and that knowledge about all these areas. So we need to put out those things in terms of courses, either, or now trainings and workshops and everything, so that people can be able to just learn from us, or just be there to listen to people and just make them understand, and try to get answers to whatever that they are going through, and bring clarity in their confusion. So that is how we can be able to support other people out there. So this is a call to action to each and every guy, that if you feel you know that you are good with teaching and you have things that you are interested in, you need to start creating content out there for people to learn from you, because God put all those ideas in your mind for a purpose. It was not for you to have it just in your mind. And sometimes what makes us cringe or shrink is the fact that maybe we do not have the confidence, or you feel like you have not gone to school about to learn about this thing. Even me, that is how I started. The reason why I could not put out content for so long out there was because I felt like I had not gone to school, because my background is in finance. I had not gone to school to learn about this thing called coaching. But now, once I started putting out content, I realized that and doing my own research, I realized that there are so many things that I have to share, that I started sharing. And with time, I started now doing the online courses, and that is how I got my certification as a life coach. And now I am confident because I have that backing. But what you need is just to start putting out the content out there, and slowly by slowly start doing the online courses, and you will get the certification that you require in that specific area. But for sure, if you have the idea in your mind, put out the content out there, because sometimes it's just a conviction that we have, because how God deals with each and every person is totally different. So sometimes it's just a conviction that you have, and but because we are in a world where mostly papers work, we have to also obey the laws of the land, and that is also what the Bible tells us. We have to obey the laws of the land, and we have to provide the papers. And by those papers, we mean you have to get your certification right if you need to get to it. So you need to, even if you do not go to school, do not fear. Put out the content that you have, and now start refining your craft by now doing things like doing the certification and talking to mentors and everything like that. I have been there, done that, and for sure I can attest that it actually works. Just start putting out the content, because putting out the content out there tells your mind that you are wiring yourself to fully immerse yourself into this specific position that God has empowered you to be. And now you start seeing opportunities for you to be able to grow in those specific areas. And that is how I was even able to even do the certification course that I took for life coaching. And I'm super glad that I even got to do that, because the certificate backs up whatever that you already know. It's not that you don't have the information in your mind, because even when I was going through the course that I went through, I was looking at everything. I'm like, I know this, I know this, I know this, but for sure we have to respect the law of the land and we have to do the certificates, and so that we can also be able to tell people that we're not just talking about from our conviction, but we are also backed up. Whatever that we are telling you is backed up by research and is backed up by people who have gone there before us, right? And it also just gives you the confidence that you are actually doing the right thing. So get to do what you are supposed to do. And something that also help makes us not grow is that we love just sometimes you find that you just want to continue training people, and you are not doing it. But now what I came to realize, we have to be the doers of whatever that we are teaching. We are not just preaching without doing it. So self-discipline start first with us, and then we get to pour it out to people. So if you're a guide and you see yourself being for long in this space, you have to start doing that which I have said. And come back here, comment in the description box, let me know how it went for you. And I love guiding people, especially who have had the same experience as me, or people who are seeing me as their mentors. I love doing this because I know that I have been there, gone through everything, and I am willing to support you in whatever area that you are struggling with. So come to me if you are a guide and you need support, and I will be able to provide all the support that we need. Comment down below if you are a guide as well, and let's connect as guides, as teachers, as as trainers. Let's connect. And I hope that you have a lovely day and continue taking care of yourself. And until next time, bye bye.